An environmental group says big business isn't paying its fair share in taxes, and this morning the group knocked on the door of a Baton Rouge business giant to tell them to pay up. And the look of this protest was a little different.
Money, money!
Members of the group called Louisiana Environmental Action Network marched on Exxon Mobil to give the company a so-called corporate hog at the trough award. The environmentalists claim Exxon Mobil takes advantage of tax exemptions and doesn't give back to the community. Exxon Mobil counters, saying it pays nearly $42 million a year in taxes and has founded a host of local educational programs. Exxon Mobil says tax exemptions allow it to remain competitive and keep jobs in Louisiana.
Our ozone watch is constant this time of year, and state environmental officials today unveiled a more exact air quality index than the one we're used to seeing. Instead of every hour, state air monitors will now be checking air quality at longer intervals to more easily spot unhealthful trends. That's going to be a major change. And state climatologist Jay Grimes was on hand today to explain that the old system was not nearly as informative, as this new one has a scale from 1 to 300. DEQ's website has more information on the new index, but it's expected that the new index will take a while to become routine. So you'll be seeing it here on 9 News. Officials say the city of Sacramento took nearly 5 years to get comfortable with this index.
Environmentalists say big business in Louisiana needs to pay more in taxes. Today, one group took its cause to the biggest refinery plant in the state. They call themselves the Louisiana Environmental Protection and Action Network, and they marched on Exxon Mobil this morning. They used a stuffed pig with money in its mouth to illustrate their belief that Exxon takes advantage of tax exemptions that in the end don't create jobs. But an Exxon Mobil spokesman says those exemptions help keep his company competitive, and jobs don't have anything to do with the tax breaks.
If we aren't competitive with those other locations, then we won't continue to expand here. And we're not a labor-intensive industry, although we have 6,300 plus people working out here every day. That's a lot. But we need to be able to continue to protect those jobs by continued investment.
We do know, in looking at comparisons to other states, that if we didn't have the industrial tax exemption in place, we would rise from about the middle of the pack in southern states in terms of tax burden to the top and higher than our closest competing states.
You may remember Governor Foster tried to end industrial tax exemptions earlier this year with very little success.